The mainstream media has been relentless in its pursuit of promoting the narrative of global warming, often using fear-mongering tactics and sensationalized headlines to grab the attention of the masses. But beneath the surface of this seemingly altruistic endeavor lies a more sinister motivation: control. By promoting the idea that human activities are causing irreversible damage to the planet, the mainstream media aims to shape public opinion and influence behavior, ultimately serving the interests of those in power. One of the primary reasons the mainstream media wants to control us with global warming propaganda is to justify increased government intervention in our lives. By creating a sense of urgency and panic around the issue, the media can convince people that drastic measures are necessary to mitigate the effects of climate change. This can lead to the implementation of policies that erode individual freedoms, such as stricter regulations on energy consumption, increased taxes, and even restrictions on personal choices like diet and transportation. The media's narrative on global warming provides a convenient pretext for governments to expand their authority and exert more control over citizens. Another motive behind the mainstream media's promotion of global warming propaganda is to serve the interests of corporations and special interest groups. Many companies have invested heavily in renewable energy technologies such as solar and wind power and stand to benefit financially from a shift away from fossil fuels. By promoting the idea that fossil fuels are a primary cause of global warming, the media can create a sense of moral urgency around the need to transition to alternative energy sources, thereby boosting demand for these companies' products. Additionally, governments and corporations can use the specter of climate change to justify massive infrastructure projects, such as the construction of new power plants, grids, and transportation systems, which can lead to lucrative contracts and profits for those involved. The mainstream media's control of the global warming narrative also allows them to shape public opinion on a range of related issues, from energy policy to economics. By framing the debate around climate change as a moral imperative, the media can marginalize opposing viewpoints and stifle dissent. Those who question the dominant narrative on global warming are often labeled as deniers or skeptics, and are subject to ridicule, ostracism, and even professional repercussions. This serves to create a chilling effect, where people are less likely to speak out against the prevailing wisdom, and more likely to conform to the accepted views. Moreover, the mainstream media's focus on global warming propaganda serves as a distraction from more pressing issues that might threaten the interests of those in power. By dominating the headlines with stories of melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and extreme weather events, the media can divert attention away from issues like economic inequality, government corruption, and social injustice. This allows those in power to maintain the status quo while creating a sense of complacency and disempowerment among the general public. Finally, the mainstream media's promotion of global warming propaganda can be seen as a form of social engineering aimed at shaping cultural values and norms. By perpetuating a narrative of guilt and shame around human activities, the media can create a sense of collective responsibility for the perceived problem of climate change. This can lead to a shift in cultural values, where individual freedoms are sacrificed for the greater good, and people are encouraged to adopt more austere, eco-friendly lifestyles. This, in turn, can create a more conformist, obedient population, less likely to question authority or challenge the dominant order. In conclusion, the mainstream media's promotion of global warming propaganda is not simply a matter of reporting on a pressing environmental issue. Rather, it represents a broader effort to control public opinion, shape behavior, and serve the interests of those in power. By creating a sense of urgency and panic around climate change, the media can justify increased government intervention, serve corporate interests, shape public opinion, distract from more pressing issues, and engage in social engineering. As such, it is essential to approach the dominant narrative on global warming with a critical eye, recognizing the complex web of motivations and interests that underlie the mainstream media's relentless promotion of this issue.